Good morning and welcome in from the 10 directions to this very special service marking the passing of the Buddha into Nirvana. This will not be our usual service. Please follow along and throw yourself in to the reality of this beautiful service. Please stand, and as you stand, smooth out your mat and fluff your cushion.
We begin all our special ceremonies, meetings with the three refuges. In this case, we will first, in our keeping with our tradition, Sino-Korean, and then original, close to the language of Buddha, Bengali, English. You follow along as best you can. Please chant after me the olive version. Buddham saranam gacchami. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. Sangham will now invite Thompson to sing the version which one of our drama teachers in the 1990s composed, and which we always sing when we have special ceremonies like this.
I put my trust in the Buddha, and I resolve that with all beings I will realize the great way, and I will cultivate a garden where the Buddha seed may forever thrive, and I will grow a heart of enlightenment. I put my trust in the Dharma, and I resolve that with all beings I will penetrate the Sutra treasure, and I will pass through Dharma gates beyond all measure, uncovering wisdom as vast as the ocean. I put my trust in the Sangha, my brothers and sisters in time of need, and I resolve that nothing will impede our gentle walk to a world that's free, liberated society. I put my trust in these jewels three, perfect and complete right now inside of me, each moment. And I resolve that with all beings I will dedicate each moment to their realization in this lifetime. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, in this lifetime. Now, please take your seats once again. You will see on the altar an image of the Buddha lying on his right side as he passes. And we begin this service with a mournful chant. And that mournful chant is simply the 5 vowels. Please repeat them after me. Ah. Ah. We will chant these at our own pace, at our own speed, in our own way. In grief, in mourning, at the loss of this light. And then we will find that light again in the Dharma. And now Jagwa will sing for us a traditional Cambodian chant called the Buddha's Last Words, translated into English by friend of the Sangha, Trent Walker. Please bring your hands together, palm to palm.
The Buddha's last words. Yoho Ananda, come here now, don't be late. I'll soon pass away, leaving you all alone. Oh friend, please be well. Don't suffer needlessly, for I must leave you. Don't you grieve, Ananda. My 5 aggregates will break down and dissolve. Stay, stay, Ananda. Contemplate your own life. These days, your body is brittle as fired clay. It won't last long, bound to break in pieces. Please, dear Ananda, contemplate this deeply. When I pass away, You must bear my teaching. Truly, this Dharma remains with anyone whose heart is bright and clear, who follows what I teach. Now the realized one shall end in nirvana. Time's curse comes cruelly to crush and cut off life.
In the last 3 years, months of his life before his death, the Buddha traveled around the Indian countryside as if to remind everyone of the teachings over and over again in every village and every city, wherever he was. People gathered around and he would review the Dharma, especially the 3 great learnings. The learning of Samadhi, Prajna, and Shila. Please follow these learnings every day. And so part of our service is for us to be reminded of the learnings on this special ceremony. So some of our members and our students and our teachers will now read them aloud. Reading loud, please, because some of us are not so good with our ears.
The Four Noble Truths. The Noble Truth of Suffering. The Noble Truth of the Cause of Suffering. The Noble Truth of the Cessation of Suffering. And finally, the Noble Truth of the Path leading to the cessation of suffering.
The Noble Eightfold Path. Right view. Right intention. Right speech. Right action. Right livelihood. Right effort. Right mindfulness. Right concentration.
The 3 marks of conditioned existence. Number 1, impermanence. Number 2, non-self. Number 3, suffering to attain nirvana.
The 4 pure abodes. Number 1, the practice of loving kindness. Number 2, the practice of compassion. Number 3, the practice of sympathetic joy. Number 4, the practice of equanimity.
The threefold training. 1, Sila, cultivation of morality, our ethical awakening. 2, Samadhi, meditative concentration and awakening to Dharma, our spiritual awakening. 3, Prajna, cultivation of wisdom and awakening to interconnectedness, our social awakening.
The 6 paramitas. Number 1, Dana paramita. May I be generous and helpful. Number 2, Shila paramita. May I be pure and virtuous. Number 3, Kasanti paramita. May I be patient. May I be able to bear and forbear the wrongs of others. Number 4, Virya paramita. May I be strenuous, energetic, and persevering. Number 5, Dhyana paramita. May I practice meditation and attain concentration and oneness to serve all beings. Number 6, Prajna paramita. May I gain wisdom and be able to give the benefit of my wisdom to others.
And now we will remember together the story of the Buddha's passing. This is a beautiful version written by Thich Nhat Hanh. The chapter is called Be Diligent.
It was dusk by the time the Buddha and the bhikkhus reached the forest. forest of sal trees. The Buddha asked Ananda to prepare a place between two sal trees for him to lie down. The Buddha lay on his side, his head facing north. All the bhikkhus sat around him. They knew that the Buddha would pass into nirvana that same night.
The Buddha looked up at the trees and said, Ananda, look, it is not yet spring, but the sal trees are covered with red blossoms. Do you see the petals falling on the Tathagata's robes and the robes of all the bhikkhus? This forest is truly beautiful. Do you see the western horizon, all aglow from the setting sun? Do you hear the gentle breeze rustling in the cell branches? The Tathagata finds all these things lovely and touching. Bhikkhus, if you want to please me, if you want to express your respect and gratitude to the Tathagata, there's only one way, and that is by living the teachings.
The evening was warm, and Venerable Upavana stood over the Buddha to fan him. But the Buddha asked him not to. Perhaps the Buddha did not want his splendid view of the setting sun obstructed. The Buddha asked Venerable Anuranda, I do not see Ananda. Where is he?
Another bhikkhu spoke up. I saw Brother Ananda standing behind some trees weeping. He was saying to himself, I have not yet attained my spiritual goal, and now my teacher is dying. Who has ever cared more deeply for me than my teacher?
The Buddha asked the bhikkhu to summon Ananda. The Buddha tried to comfort Ananda. He said, don't be so sad, Ananda. The Tathagata has often reminded you that all dharmas are impermanent. With birth, there is death. With arising, there is dissolving. With coming together, there is separation. How can there be birth without death? How can there be arising without dissolving? How can there be coming together without separation? Ananda, you have cared for me with all your heart for many years. You have devoted all your efforts to helping me, and I am most grateful to you. Your merit is great, Ananda, but you can go even farther. If you make just a little more effort, you can overcome birth and death. You can attain freedom and transcend every sorrow. I know you can do that, and that is what would make me the most happy.
Turning to the other bhikkhus, the Buddha said, no one has been as good an attendant as Ananda. Other attendants in the past sometimes dropped my robe or bowl to the ground, but never Ananda. He has taken care of all my needs from the tiniest detail to the largest tasks. Ananda always knew when and where a bhikkhu, bhikkhuni, lay disciple, king, official, or practitioner from a different religious sect should meet with me. He arranged all meetings most effectively and intelligently. The Tathagata believes that no enlightened master in the past or future could have an attendant more talented and devoted than Ananda.
Venerable Ananda wiped his tears and said, Lord, please don't pass away here. Kusinara is just a small town of mud dwellings. There's so many more worthy places like Sampa, Rajagaha, Salpati, Sakita, Kosambi, or Varanasi. Please, Lord, select such a place to pass away so that more people will have a chance to see your face one last time.
The Buddha replied, Ananda, Kushinara is also important, even if it is not no more than a small town of mud dwellings. The Tathagata finds this forest most agreeable. Ananda, do you see the saw flowers falling about me? The Buddha asked Ananda to go into Kushinara and announce to the Mallas that the Buddha would pass into Nirvana in the grove of sal trees at the night's last watch. When the Malla people heard this news, they hastily made their way to the forest. An ascetic named Sabada was among them. While the people took turns bowing to the Buddha, Sabada asked Venerable Ananda if he could have an audience with the Buddha. Ananda refused, saying the Buddha was too tired to receive anyone.
The Buddha overheard their conversation and said, Ananda, let ascetic Subhada speak with me. The Tathagata will receive him. Ascetic Subhada knelt before the Buddha. He had long felt drawn to the Buddha's teaching, but had never met him before. He bowed and said, Lord, I have heard about spiritual leaders such as Purana Kassapa, Makali Gosala, Ajita Kesakambali, Pakuta Kapchayana, Sanjaya Balatiputta, and Niganta Nataputta. I would like to ask if, according to you, any of them attained true enlightenment. The Buddha answered, Subhada, whether or not they attained enlightenment is not a necessary thing to discuss now. Subhada, the Tathagata will show you the path by which you yourself can attain enlightenment.
The Buddha spoke to Subhada about the Noble Eightfold Path. He concluded by saying, Subhada, whenever the Eightfold Path is truly practiced, you will find people who have attained enlightenment, Subhada. If you follow this path, you too can attain enlightenment.
Ascetic Subhada felt his heart suddenly opened. He was filled with great happiness. He asked the Buddha to accept him as a bhikkhu. The Buddha asked the Venerable Anuruddha to perform the ordination ceremony right then and there. Subhada was the last disciple received by the Buddha.
After Subhada's head was shaved, he received the precepts and was given a robe and bowl. The Buddha then looked at all the Buddhas sitting around him. Many bhikkhus from the vicinity had arrived, and so there were now nearly 500. The Buddha spoke to them.
Bhikkhus, If you have any doubts or perplexity concerning the teaching, now is the time to ask the Tathagata about it. Don't let this opportunity pass by so that you will reproach yourself saying, that day I was face to face with the Buddha, but I did not ask him. The Buddha repeated these words 3 times, but no bhikkhu spoke. Venerable Ananda exclaimed, Lord, it is truly wonderful. I have faith in the community of bhikkhus. I have faith in the Sangha. Everyone has clearly understood your teaching. Not one has any doubts or perplexity about your teaching and the path to realize it. The Buddha said, Ananda, you speak from faith, but the Tathagata has direct knowledge. The Tathagata knows that all the bhikkhus here possess deep faith in the 3 gems. Even the lowest attainment among the bhikkhus is that of stream enterer.
The Buddha looked quietly over the community and then said, Bhikkhus, listen to what the Tathagata now says. Dharmas are impermanent. If there is birth, there is death. Be diligent in your efforts to obtain liberation.
The Buddha closed his eyes. He had spoken his last words. The earth shook. Salt blossoms fell like rain. Everyone felt their minds and bodies tremble. They knew the Buddha had passed into nirvana.
The 10 Dharma gates of the spring wind Sangha.
The Buddha had passed away. Some bhikkhus threw up their arms and flung themselves on the ground. They wailed, the Buddha has passed away. The Lord has died. The eyes of the world are no more. Who can we take refuge in now?
While these bhikkhus cried and thrashed about, other bhikkhus sat silently, observing their breath and contemplating the things the Buddha had taught them. Venerable Anuruddha spoke up. Brothers, do not cry so pitifully. The Lord Buddha has taught us that with birth there is death, with arising there is dissolving, with coming together there is separation. If you understand and follow the Buddha's teaching, you will cease to make such a disturbance. Please sit up again and follow your breathing. We will maintain silence.
Everyone returned to his place and followed Venerable Anuruddha's counsel. He led them in reciting sutras they all knew by heart, which spoke about impermanence, emptiness of self, non-attachment, and liberation. Calm dignity was restored. The mullahs lit torches. Sounds of chanting echoed impressively in the dark night as everyone placed his full awareness on the words in the sutras. After a lengthy recitation, Venerable Anuranga gave a Dharma talk. He praised the Buddha's attainments, his wisdom, compassion, virtue, concentration, joy, and equanimity.
When Venerable Anuruddha finished speaking, Venerable Ananda recounted beautiful episodes from the Buddha's life. Throughout the night, the two venerables took turns speaking. The 500 bhikkhus and 300 lay disciples listened quietly. As torches burned down, new ones were lit to take their places until dawn broke.
The 10 Dharma gates of the Spring Wind Sangha. 1. Buddha Sakyamuni attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree at Bodh Gaya. 2. He saw with his wisdom eye that all beings were endowed with Buddha nature, each and every one, with no exception. 3. Thereafter, the Buddha spent 45 years on the road, teaching the way of Buddha to the multitude, for the peace of the world and happiness of all beings. 4. Since that time, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and great masters of the 10 directions and the 3 worlds have carried forward the truth. They have declared that all beings are Buddhas from the very beginning, striving with this teaching to save everyone from ignorance and suffering. 5. Over the centuries and successive generations, they made special vows out of compassion and used many skillful means to inspire their contemporaries and fellow beings. They urged everyone to look for the Buddha within. 6. Together, these Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and great masters have passed on to us the Dharma of hope and purification and the way of wisdom and emancipation. They have entrusted us with the continued transmission of Dharma and the light of wisdom. 7. When we awaken to the Buddha within, surrender ourselves to the tradition of 3 jewels, and apprehend the manifestation of the 3 bodies of Buddha, then Dharma sun begins to shine in our everyday life. The wheel of Dharma turns. We are blessed by its turning, and we live in the Dharma realm amidst the ailing and troubled world. 8. Out of our deep humility and boundless gratitude to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas before us, we wake up again and again. We vow constant practice. We strive to shine again out of clouds. Be ye a lamp. 9. Remember that it is your Buddha who meditates, lights candles, chants, and does prostrations. Remember that it is your bodhisattva who plays the wake-up mock talk, rings the bell, cleans the temple, and greets people at the door. Remember that each of your acts is nothing short of full awakening, and that each service you render completely fulfills your bodhisattva vow to liberate all beings. 10. Stop seeking holiness, for the way of Buddha is no other than the ordinary, everyday life. Honor all beings, for Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are no other than common, ordinary people.
Please stand. At this point in our service, each one of us has the opportunity to honor the Buddha and the teachings by making an offering of chanting the name of the Buddha and an offering of a snowdrop. They're out. The flowers are blooming. Just as they fell upon the Buddha as he passed, we have snowdrops that come up through the snow. So now, please, we will be chanting the Buddha's name, and I'll teach you that chant in a moment. While we chant, please form two lines down the center of the hall. And as you come to the front with your hands palm to palm, please take a snowdrop. Make bow and offering. And then offer the snowdrop in the bowl that's closest to you. Then bow again. And return to your place. Return to your place the other way so as not to cause a tangle in the The chant, we'll chant the name of the Buddha in Korean, and it goes like this. Suga Muni Bol, 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 Suga Muni The Buddha was born under a tree. attained enlightenment under a tree, and passed away under a tree. The Buddha passed away in order to prove the three marks of all conditioned phenomena: impermanence, non-self, suffering, to attain nirvana. He passed away so that each of us in successive generations could awaken like him, that we could take up training to become Buddhas and Bodhisattvas for the world. He passed away so that the legacy of Dharma and Sangha would prevail in successive generations. There is suffering. There is tremendous suffering in the world. Please take the next few moments to send light and wisdom and compassion and strength to places in the world where the suffering is most acute. Whatever merit we may have earned through our participation in this parinirvana service, we offer for the relief of suffering and the peace and happiness of all beings. May peace and happiness prevail. May love and wisdom flourish. May the teachings of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas spread. Gate, gate, haragate, harasangate, bodhisattva. Gate, gate, haragate, harasangate. This concludes our service for today. Announcements?
Thank you everyone for coming today. So I'll give you a few announcements, and just want to say also, please come and introduce yourself. A lot of you afterwards will be serving tea, especially for newcomers. Glad to see you all. So we have a wide variety of temple programming this fall and winter. Please visit our event sign-up area in the foyer to register. Programming includes: coming soon is our 5-day spring retreat, Yongbang Junction. Consider setting aside some of your life for deepening and maturing meditation practice. Our retreat begins at 7 p.m. on April 2nd and ends at 9 a.m. on April 6th. The schedule includes sitting and walking meditation, manual work practice, Dharma talks, rest periods, and delicious vegetarian meals. A class is being offered by Chichon Clifford Brown titled Entering the Stream. This class will discover the basics of Buddhism, the life of the Buddha, basic teachings, the development of various schools of Buddhism. It meets from 7 to 8:30 p.m. for 4 Tuesdays, beginning April 8th. You can indicate your interest by adding your name to the sign-up sheet that is in the foyer. The temple offers meditation classes on a regular basis. The course includes simple stretching exercises, work with the breath, meditation postures, concentration, and mindfulness practice. Everything you need to know to support your own home practice. Our 5-week version offers 2 hours of instruction per week from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. on Thursday evenings. The next class that begins March 20th. We also offer the same instruction in a condensed overnight format from Friday evening at 7 p.m. through noon on Saturday. This version includes an overnight stay and breakfast at the temple. Our next overnight meditation class is March 21st and 22nd. Every Tuesday from 6:30 to 8 p.m., we offer yoga with David Black. Beginning and experienced students in the classes learn traditional yogas, postures, hatha yoga, with an emphasis on relaxation, concentration, and working with the breath. The instructors were trained by the Shivananda Yoga Organization and combined that experience with meditation training. Cost is $60 per 6 section, or drop-in is $12 per section. Our family service is offered on the second Sunday of the month from 9:45 to 11:30 a.m. Please let your friends and family know about this special monthly service for the cultivation of concentration, kindness, and Dharma fun. We have an evening sitting for the Sangha every Wednesday evening from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. All Sangha members are encouraged to come to temple and practice midweek. Every Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m., we offer opportunities to perform work practice aimed at helping us maintain our temple grounds and buildings and grounds. We consider hands-on work a vital aspect of our Buddhist practice. As we care for the temple, we care for ourselves. The temple also holds an online Sangha service every Sunday night from 7 to 8:30 p.m. This service joins with practitioners in our temples in Toronto, Ann Arbor, and New York, as well as those living at a distance. The Zoom link is located on our website, www.zenbuddhisttemple.org. Thank you for joining us this morning. This temple is entirely supported by generous donations. We have either monetary donations or work practice, or we call it Together Action, which is coming soon. I don't know, probably not today, but maybe fairly soon. Okay, good. Well, yeah, I agree. So, great. Well, like I said, glad to see you all here and hope to talk to you outside.
Please stand. We will conclude with the 4 great vows and 3 vows. And then after that, if you would please pick up the cushions that are not touching the rug. So the other mats and cushions, the mats on this side go in the far corner and the cushions go in the little bookcasey thing. And on this side, the mats stack on the stage there and the cushions go near them. Now please join me in the 4 great vows. All beings, one body.
All beings, one body.
I vow to liberate.
I vow to liberate.
Blind passions, one root.
Blind passions, one root.
I vow to terminate.
I vow to terminate.
Dharma gates, one mind.
Dharma gates, one mind.
I vow to penetrate.
I vow to penetrate.
The great way of Buddha.
The great way of Buddha.
I vow to realize.
I vow to realize.